for the last 5 weeks watching HGTV, they are envisioning this, right? The white cabinets, the beautiful granite countertops, the fancy appliances, the built-in sink into the island, and that nice open airy feel for the house. This is what they're hoping that you're going to show them. Then that first house that you walk into looks something like this. That's a perfect renovation opportunity. Your renovation loans do not have to be for old blown out HUD houses that don't have hot water tanks, that don't have furnaces, that don't have copper piping. We don't have to do that anymore. We can take something like this and renovate it into the previous slide's picture to make it more appealing to the buyer. Your buyer just has to be able to have some vision, or you have to be able to present them with a vision of what you might be able to do. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So if we do find that house that is in perfect condition and we're working with that FHA buyer again, they're going to have some competition, right? In your market, I know this already, but if you're talking 3.5% down compared to a 20% down, multiple offer situation, which one is the seller going to take? Obviously, they're going to take the 20% down one. They're paying top dollar for somebody else's renovation. They don't even know who did it. I mean, the homeowner could have done it. At least if they're buying the house and they're hiring their own contractor to fix it, they know that it's a licensed, insured person that's working on their house. They might not even know about a renovation loan. I can't tell you how many people that I talk to that say to me, I never even heard of this. My realtor mentioned this to me. I was so happy when I heard that I could actually buy a house and get some extra money to fix it up. So even if you just mention it, I mean, we'll take it from there. We'll walk them through it. Okay, so limited inventory. That is another perfect reason that we want to be thinking about renovation right now. Your current market conditions. I mean, multiple offers, over asking price. I know that they're waiving home inspections. They're saying that they'll pay $25,000 over appraised value. I mean, the competition is fierce. I know that. But there's got to be some ugly ducklings out there that need love, that do not have that much activity around them. That may be a good opportunity for your client. Maybe they want to be in a certain area. They want this subdivision. They want this school district, but all they can find is a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and they have 3 kids. They want 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. You can add square footage with a renovation loan. You can add on a master suite. You can add on an upstairs dormer. You can change it into what you want it to be, if it's in the right area for your client. So the millennials, let's talk about them, those crazy millennials, right? There's 67% of them in the market right now, and they're not afraid of fixer-uppers, not at all. They love the opportunity. My son is in that market. He would love to find a house that he could renovate and turn into his own. They're not afraid. So as a realtor, try to not be afraid as well. Foreclosures, we know that they're going down, but you're still seeing them in the major metro areas. And let's not forget about COVID forbearance. There's a lot of folks out there that are in forbearance that's going to expire. If they can't catch up, we could see another round of foreclosures coming. Okay, so let's talk about the renovation solution. How am I doing? Does anybody have questions? So far, so good?
Oh, it's really good. And I just want to add on to the millennial doing renovations. It seems to be more popular than ever, DIY, you know,
yep.
As HGTV and with yep. YouTube. I recently closed a house for this couple that they're completely redoing the whole thing by themselves with no experience whatsoever. So
that's kind of scary.
yeah. But I'm saying it's really in the blood of the millennials to
it is. This HGTV has started a revolution of people that want to buy an older home and fix it up. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about the renovation solution. And remember, it's just another tool in your belt as a realtor. It's just something to have, something to mention, something to bring up in certain circumstances. It certainly fits for some people. So when you do a renovation loan, you guys, it is one big loan for both the purchase price plus the cost of renovations. You're buying a house for $150,000. You're going to put $50,000 into it. You're going to get one big loan for $200,000. What are you limited by? three things actually. So what the client qualifies for. So it's got to fit with debt to income, and it's got to fit with down payment and whatnot. But your limits really are your county loan limits for FHA or conventional. You're talking $356,362 for FHA. If you're, Jake, are you high cost? You probably have some high cost, don't you?
Yeah, we have some high cost. Yeah.
So you'll have to go back to Jake for that. But base loan amounts, 356, 362 for FHA, 548, 250 for conventional. So that's the most we can lend them. They can have projects higher than that, but that's the most we can lend them. Then that after improved value. So we do give the renovation plan to the appraiser, whatever plan we have. He values that house as if those renovations were already done. That does need to support your loan. So if you had a project for 200,000, like I was talking about earlier, we would be looking for an after improved value in the $200,000 range. With the FHA, you could do as little as 3.5% down. VA, we do have a VA renovation loan as well. That would be a zero down product. Remember, they're choosing their contractor. We're not telling them who to use. So they get to do their renovations the way that they want them done. They get to consider more homes. I mean, let's face it, it opens up what they might be able to look at. And there are some added fees. That's true. You have draw fees. So when the contractor wants money, you have permit fees, you have supplemental origination, you have contingency. We're going to build them in a whoops fund, but that's all financed into their loan. So really their closing costs do not go up. If their cash to close goes up, it's because their down payment is off the total instead of off just the sale price. Remember, we close on the property as is. Nothing happens to the house until they own it. We don't even have the money because the money's in the loan, and we wouldn't want somebody to be putting money into something they don't own anyway. And remember, we don't need the utilities on. I don't need them on to close. I don't need them on for appraisal. That's a huge plus with a renovation loan. Sometimes if you have a plumbing problem, you're not going to be able to get the water turned on. That's okay. We can close on that house. Other opportunities, obviously foreclosures, short sales, estate sales, some of those older dated properties that maybe, mom and dad have been in for 40 or 50 years that they've never really updated anything. Those are perfect renovation loans. Cash only makes me crazy. There's no doubt about it. I mean, if as a listing agent, you're offering a property as cash only, and I get your market, I get it. But you have taken your buyer pool and shrunk it down to maybe 2 or 3% of the buying population, maybe a little bit more in Colorado. You guys got some more money out there. But if you just offer it as cash or renovation lending, you just opened it up to every pre-approved buyer out there. Because anybody that's going to do a FHA or a conventional loan typically can do a renovation loan. There's no added criteria. It's not like this specialty product that has all these weird overlays. That's not the way that it works. So outdated stuff, I mean, no doubt about it that in Michigan, I'm from Michigan, we have a lot of the 3-bedroom brick ranch, about 1,200 square feet. They're all cut up, People like to blow those walls out of the living room and the kitchen and open that up and make that more appealing to the younger folks. We're doing that like crazy up here in neighborhoods. Or how about your picky buyer? That buyer that you have now shown 50 houses. They don't like anything. There's something wrong with everything. You finally think that you found them a house. You're sitting down with them. You're ready to write up the offer. And the wife looks at the husband and she goes, "Oh, but honey, that toilet paper holder in the half bath, it's in such a weird place." That's a renovation person. You should be talking to them about renovation loans. And I know you guys are laughing because I know this kind of stuff happens to you. I hear about it. I hear about it all the time. So it's a solution for somebody to buy a property and finance in the renovations. How we doing? Questions, anybody? I don't want to keep, I talk fast, so I don't want to make sure I'm not missing anything here.
I really like I just want to point out that you mentioned that it's not hard to qualify for it. There's not a bunch of crazy overlays for your 740 credit borrower.
Correct.
I mean, FHA has a product which is pretty forgiving for the most part.
Yes. I mean, pretty much so we're going to follow regular agency guidelines. We don't add a bunch of stuff. Okay, so I just want to talk briefly about refinance because I know that it doesn't really benefit you guys, but I want to know that you can do it. And we're not going to look at a renovation loan as our first option. We would look at cash out or home equity. The deal with a renovation loan, though, is it's based off that future condition, that future value. So remember, with a cash out program, if they want to just do a cash out and renovate their house, as a lender, we can only go to 80% now. That's limited. I'm not cash out. So I could go to 95% of that after improved value on a conventional loan. On an FHA loan, FHA has this weird little, awesome little kicker to it. You can go to 110%. So on a refinance, I can go to 98.75% of 110% of the after improved value from the appraiser. So if they don't have the current equity, renovation would be the option to go. Let's talk about properties that are in disarray. So Jake, you have that client, you just brought it up, that they're totally renovating their whole house, right? They bought it. It was okay for financing, had a kitchen, had a furnace, had everything it needed. So they just closed as a regular standard person. Now they're into their renovation. Well, guess what? They're going to run into electrical issues. They're going to run into plumbing issues. They're going to be trying to bring in that big piece of granite with a couple of buddies. They're going to drop it and crack it in half. Maybe they misaligned a couple of their cupboards in the kitchen, right? This stuff happens all day. So now they're out of money and they don't have a kitchen. Now they can't get a loan. Yeah, they can. They can do a renovation loan. And for whatever reason, we all know realtors, you guys, I think I need to know a lot for my job. I swear you guys need to know more. These clients come to you for everything. I need to know, where do I go for my utilities? What school does my kid going to go to? Where I need an attorney. I need this. I need that. You guys, it seems like you're just like you have to know everything to get these people through their transactions. So in this case, I guarantee you, they're going to call you back and say, guess what? Is there anything that you know of? You're going to be the hero when you say, yep, I know about renovation lending. Go ahead and give Jake a call over at Cross Country Mortgage. He'll get you set up and we'll get you in some extra money to finish up your kitchen. Okay, so go ahead, Jay.
Sorry, in addition to that, when those clients reach out to agents about those repairs and they were to do a renovation loan, they're going to be adding that much equity into the house, and that may in turn give you a sell that you weren't expecting in the future sooner than you may have thought. Once they have a little more equity in the house, they have a little more freedom to potentially move in the shorter term in the future.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry, I have some landscapers here, so my dogs are a little nervous. I'm sorry that they're barking in the background. Okay, so let's talk about 203K for just a second. So 203K is the FHA product. So you have 203K, you have conventional, you have VA. 203K is, for whatever reason, the more widely known product in the FHA or in the real estate community, which is fine. 1 to 4 owner occupied units. FHA is owner occupied. You can't use FHA for anything but owner occupied. 3.5% down, no matter how many units. I don't know if you guys have multi-units in your market or not, but if you do have multi-units with a conventional loan, the more the unit, the more the down payment that's required. That's not true with FHA. FHA is still going to be 3.5% down, even on that 4-unit property. Remember, all those rents for those other units can be used to help boost the income for the buyer so that they qualify for more. We do a lot of multi-unit property with FHA for sure. It's still a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. There's nothing funny about it. There's no prepayment penalty. There's no balloon. There's no nothing. It's a 30-year fixed mortgage. So we're not doing anything risky here with your clients. The biggest myth, we got to talk about this because for whatever reason, it's a huge myth in the real estate community. So, and I know why. I can give you one reason why that I know of anyway. There's 2 products in the family. There's a limited and there's a standard. If you hear you're limited to $35,000 in renovations, that's the limited program. The limited says your renovations can't exceed $35,000. You can't add square footage to your home. And you can't have any structural repairs. And when I say structural, I mean, yes, foundations, bowing walls, crumbling. We can fix all that with a renovation loan, but you would need to use the standard. So that's the difference between the two. The standard says you got to have a minimum of $5,000 in repairs. Now you could buy a property for $1 and use the rest of the money to renovate. So the whole $356,000 in loan amount could be used for renovation. There's no limit to what you can use for loan to repairs to sale price. There's no limit. FHA doesn't limit that at all. You do have to have had a certificate of occupancy, however. You can't finish off new construction with FHA, or if a builder goes belly up, you can't go in there and use renovation lending per FHA guidelines to finish them up. You can knock down a home and rebuild it with an FHA. The foundation needs to remain intact. That's the biggest thing. Questions around FHA? I didn't go into it too hard. Like I said, I don't want to give you guys a bunch of property or product knowledge. That's not my goal here. Nothing? We're good? Okay, let's talk about home style real quick. So home style is your Fannie Mae renovation loan. We also have the Freddie Mac program. So we have Fannie and Freddie, and there's reasons why we would use either. And that's more for loan officers because there's some things you can do with Freddie that you can't do with Fannie. So we would decide which product we would put them under, but it's the same product, basically the same guidelines. 5% down for 1 unit, single family homes. First time home buyers can even do 3%. We can do 1 to 4 unit, but I talked about it. Your down payment requirement goes up and they must live in one of the units. This is not set up for investors to buy multiple unit homes. 1 unit second and 1 unit investment. Yes, we do offer a second home. It's a 10% down product. We can do a investment property for 15% down. The only reason I bring up this finance up to 75% of as completed appraised value is because it keeps coming up. I keep getting questions around it. So Fannie says your repairs cannot exceed 75% of your after improved value. Don't think about purchase price. Don't think about loan amount. You can still be at 95%. What it's saying is your repairs, so your escrow account. So on a $400,000 after improved value, your escrow account cannot exceed $300,000. Fannie just won't let you buy that property for $1 and use all the rest of the money to renovate it like FHA will. That's all that means. It's very rare that it causes a problem with a renovation loan, but so many people think, wait, I can only finance 75% of the after improved value. Wait, what? That's not what it is. It's the escrow account to the after improved value. So think 400, 300, see how much room that gives you. You'll be fine. We can do a 10, a 15, a 20, or a 30-year fix. We offer them on all the terms. Again, new construction is somewhat of a problem because Fannie says you can do it, but your home has to be 90% complete. So if you've got that builder that, has those properties that are almost done, yeah, we could go in there with renovation. They say 10% of the after improved value can be used to finish off new construction. So if you're at a $500,000 after improved value, you're talking about a maximum of $50,000. That home really has to be pretty well done. New construction is tough. Renovation is not new construction. It's just not. New construction is a whole different ballgame. And I know enough about it to be dangerous, so I don't even want to talk about it. The VA. So the VA is obviously 100% financing, which is super cool for our veterans. You have no MI. It gives all the cool things that you got for VA. Whoops, I'm sorry. Didn't even think that would be going on. Let me get rid of that. So it works a lot like the FHA Streamline. $35,000 for maximum for your renovation budget. The builder has to register with VA. This is not a big deal, you guys. I know that when we first started offering the program, everybody was like, oh my God, the builder has to register and they're never going to pass and it's VA. It's like 4 forms. I actually print them out, send them to the builder via DocuSign. They send them back to me. I send them to the VA and we get a builder ID number 24 hours later. There's nothing to it. So don't be afraid of that. They only have 60 days after closing. That's why we limit the repairs to $35,000. VA works totally different than every other renovation program. VA really doesn't have one. They kind of let the lenders do it, but they still want that loan to be delivered to them in 4 months. So we limit the repairs to $35,000 so that we can get them done in 60 days, still get that loan over to VA for finalization or whatever they do. So no structural, no additions, and no luxury. I didn't really talk about that. So, and this could be in your market. With conventional lending, they offer luxury items. FHA does not. So with an FHA loan, you can't put up a garage if you already have a garage. It would be considered luxury. You can't put up a pole barn. You can't put in a hot tub or a pool. With conventional, you can. You could do a fancy outdoor Bobby Flay kitchen if you wanted to. You can put in a swimming pool. So you could do all those luxury items. VA would not allow for that. Okay,
and so that 90%, that's off the new value again, correct?
Correct. Yeah. When we talk renovation, we're always talking future value.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so what can you do? What can you do? What can you do? What can't you do would be a smaller program. A smaller list. I swear there is nothing. So new windows, new furnace, new septic, new well. You got to hook up to the water at the road. You're doing an FHA loan and they want you to hook up to the water at the road. You could do that with a renovation loan. We can do a well. We can remove an old wall oil tank if it's sunk in the property. We can remove critters from the attic. We can remove beehives. I've done it all. Nothing outside, windows, siding, roofs, decks, cement work. There is nothing. I can't say it enough. There's nothing that you can't do with a renovation loan. I mean, people come to me all the time. Well, I've got lead-based paint. Okay, no problem. I got to do a new septic. Okay. I mean, there is nothing. You're limited again by that after improved value and your loan limits for the program. This is a case study. I just want to show you some before and after pictures here. So this client bought the house for $390. They put about $130 into it, all in roughly about $520. Our appraised value, $620, you guys. So they moved in with instant equity, which is super cool, and it happens a lot. So this was the house. I mean, nothing wrong with it, right? You can finance that. There's no big holes anywhere, no chipping or peeling paint, or no big holes in the flooring. It just wasn't very attractive. So this was the kitchen after. I mean, huge difference. You can see why they're building in so much equity by doing this, putting that island in, opening that kitchen up, changing those cabinets, just making the feel and the flow so much more functional for your kitchen. And then same thing with the bathroom. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You can finance that. It's not missing anything. But they just opened it up a little, brought up some new colors, put some fancier tile work in there. I mean, doesn't that bathroom look so much better than the other one?
Yeah.
And this is why they even thought about doing a renovation loan to begin with. I mean, obviously this decking is an issue. A little child could fall right through there. So that's why they couldn't do a regular loan. Come to find out, we decided to do some more inside. So this was the deck after, much better. So you've identified a property. What are your next steps? So first of all, Jake is your loan officer. I'm just a supporting role for Jake. I just come in when he has a renovation loan. So I'll start talking to the client. I'll start walking them through it. We'll start talking about timelines, how important it is for them to choose a contractor and make sure that they're getting them out to the property in the beginning. We'll start talking about the purchase agreement. Excuse me. For you guys, purchase price is purchase price. Sale price is sale price. You don't need to change any of that. We don't know what their loan amount is going to be yet. We can't possibly know until we're almost ready to close. So you just are going to write in your sale price. You're going to write in your type of program, whether it's an FHA or conventional or a VA, and then use minimum and maximum for your financing. So 3% down, 5% down, 3.5, 96.5. If you have to put anything in there, if you don't, that's great. But don't put anything in there that's going to limit me. Like on that $150,000 sale and the $50,000 renovation, don't put a loan amount of $200,000, because what if the bid ends up coming in at 60? What if the appraiser comes back and says, we need to do this, this, and this, and it changes again? Because I'll have to keep going back to you and getting updates to your purchase contract. So don't limit us that way. Let us determine that stuff down the road when we know what it's going to be. As far as timeline, I think this is a good time to talk about timeline, you guys, because I'm not going to be quick. I told you that from the beginning, and I'm not sugarcoating that for you. If somebody tells you they can close a renovation loan in 30 days, you need to run as far away from that person as you possibly can, because they're lying to you. They can't do it. From the time that I order the appraisal, I flow just about like Jake. I'm probably 35 to 45 days to close, right? In this market, it's a heavy market. Everybody's busy. Getting to that point is where you're going to have trouble. And if you can do anything as their realtor to help them, please get involved and help them choose a contractor and help them get that bid in place. If you just need a roof and a furnace, yeah, you can probably get that over to us in 15 days. We're ordering the appraisal within 15 days. You're closing on a 60-day contract. If they're going to gut that entire house, or if it's already gutted, say it's a burn down or a flood and it's already gutted, 15 days would be a miracle. Not only does the contractor have to get out there, but they got to get their subcontractors out there. The subcontractors have to give them money. The client has to pick some things out. I mean, we don't make them pick out a model or a serial number of their vanity in their bathroom, but they have to know that a $300 allowance is enough for their vanity, right? We're not new construction. New construction lending, you got to do that kind of stuff. We're not that. But for that to take 30 days, okay, then I'm ordering the appraisal on day 35. You're looking at more than a 60-day close, right? So we got to be realistic with that part of it. But if you give me the time to do it, I will get the loan closed. Questions? How am I doing? You guys are very quiet.
No, I think that's really really good, and setting kind of the proper expectation. And you may not win a lot of or many offers at all on a renovation loan in this current market, but it at least gives you some security in talking to the clients that, hey, you may want to buy this home, it needs some work, but after you purchase, you can look into getting a renovation refinance as well, to make all the changes that you want, rather than having it come out of your pocket.
Right. I mean, I was talking to a kid who actually was in Colorado. He was going to use a hard money loan to buy the house because he could close in like a couple of weeks. I don't know much about those either. But then we were going to put a renovation loan together for him after the fact. I mean, I hate that idea. I'm sure you all do as well. Double closing costs. We don't want to do that. And your market can't stay this way. So eventually, I think, it'll come back around and we'll be able to start talking more about some realistic programs that we can put in place. But I mean, meanwhile, yeah, you can absolutely do a renovation loan refi. We talked about it. So we can definitely help them that way.
And then also, Sandy mentioned some FHA loan limits.
Yep.
They vary by a couple $100,000 in different
Yes.
Colorado.
Yes.
So if you ever have any questions what those loan limits are, you're more than welcome to reach out as well.
Right. And we can support high costs. So like Jake's loan limit for FHA may be $550. That's fine if that's what is in your market. And know that as you go up in unit, that number goes up as well. I mean, the 4 units could be well over $1 million in loan limit, depending on what county you're in. And yeah, he's going to be your resource for that. They go county by county, and they're given to us. It's not something that cross country sets up or we have any say in.
Yeah, Denver, for example, is over $1 million for a 4-plex.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of opportunity, and it's such a great product.
Yeah. So does anybody have any other questions? I mean, that was kind of the end of my program. Unless somebody has some questions they want to bring up, I'm happy to answer anything you might have.
Anybody?
Nothing?
One more thing that I just want to point out, for the refinance portion of it, is that you don't have the great thing about the renovation loan is that it's a rate and term, meaning that you can go higher up in your loan to value. So normally when you do a cash out refinance, you can only take up to 80% of the value. Right. But with renovation, you can actually go up to 95% of the new value. Right. So, I mean, and it's not considered cash out, so it doesn't have any waiting periods either. So like if they bought a property for cash that was not financeable and now they want to put a renovation loan in place, we can start that right away. We have no waiting periods like you would for your normal cash out. Sorry. Right. Any more questions? All right. Nope. Do you have anything else to add, Sandy? Nope. Jake, I will send you this PowerPoint so that you can share it with whoever was on the call. Okay.
I think I did put your contact information at the end. Yep, you're right here. And then my contact is here. But if you need me, feel free to reach out to Jake. He'll find me. He'll track me down. I do talk to a lot of people about renovation lending, especially sometimes even before they're even going to put in an offer. It's not for everybody. I don't sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell them what they need to do. And then sometimes the client says, oh, hell no, I'm not interested. I'm going to find a move-in ready house. But we'd rather know that before they actually put an offer in. So feel free to reach out with any scenarios or questions. I'm typically always in the office. I have a team that supports me if I'm not here, so we can get your questions answered, and hopefully we can put together some renovation loans for you guys out there.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sandy, for coming on and educating us. There's so much information, and I know there's so much more. So it's great to have you as a resource.
No problem. Let me know whatever I can do to help you guys.
Absolutely. And just want to thank everyone for tuning in, and till next time.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.